me today. It's really great to see everyone. I think we all miss our after 5 get-togethers, but hopefully we can have those again soon. But I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today and actually hear from you. For me, this is a great opportunity to hear what's going on in your businesses and what you're looking for as we look towards a phased reopening of our community and across the state as well. I know that everybody's been through a lot in the past, six weeks or so, and things have changed rapidly week by week. Our office has really been working hard to keep the community informed and engaged and to listen to businesses as well. So I just wanted to give you a quick kind of update on what we've been doing on the city side. And I do daily videos, and I've been doing that since the beginning of March, and hopefully some of you have seen them. But we do those to really get out information to folks and update them about the new changes and advisories and orders, because as you know, things change rapidly, and they have changed rapidly over the past 6 weeks about how we do things and what the new rules are and orders are. And some things have changed within the city government as well. One of the things that hopefully you're aware of is property tax bills. We're trying to give some relief to folks. There's a lot of people are able to get unemployment right now, but there's certainly folks who don't qualify. I know it's tough if you're running a business right now. I can't even imagine what some of you guys are going through. So property tax has been, well, we've moved the due date to June 29th. So for your real estate tax, so you have up until that time to pay. It would have been May 14th, I believe. So any fees or interest that you would have accrued will be waived, and you can, as long as you pay your property tax and excise tax as well by June 29th. So if you pay it on June 30th, it's too late. It's got to be by June 29th. And if you do pay it on June 30th, all of the fees and interest will accrue that would have accrued from the day that your bill was originally due. Most people are probably aware of that, but I have come across some that aren't. We've put it out there in press releases and on the daily videos multiple times to get people aware of that. So hopefully that'll help some of you out, and you could also make it in payments if you'd like. The other thing we did was start a COVID-19 emergency response fund. And actually Bristol County Savings Bank was fantastic. They were the first ones that stepped right up to help us with that. So thank you very much, Michelle. And the purpose of the fund is to help give assistance to people who've been substantially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So that can be individuals. It is also, we're giving grants to nonprofits who provide services to individuals. So it's either of those two things. If you know somebody that's substantially impacted, we encourage them to apply. And individuals can do that by calling our Human Services Department in Taunton. And just let me give you an example. You know, I had a woman contact me. She's self-employed. She didn't qualify for unemployment. You know, she's struggling to pay her bills, to put food on the table. So I suggested that she call Human Services because they can help people with rent or mortgage or utility payments and things like that. And they'll just kind of discuss your situation with you and what help you might need, and maybe also be able to direct you to other agencies that can help you. So if you know any of your employees, yourselves, or friends and family that are impacted, they can do that and apply. And our human resources number is 821-1420. So it's 508-821-1420. And we really do encourage people to call. Everybody needs a little help sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with getting that help if it's available to you. We've already given out several grants to two of them to a couple of nonprofits in the area that help people with different types of assistance. So that fund is going really well. We've got a good amount of money in there. We also have on our City of Taunton website a dedicated page with updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. And we do have business information for you on that as well. So what services are available to businesses and who you can call. You know, I see that SCORE is on here. You know, they've really been great helping out businesses and guiding them on how to fill out some of these applications that can be a little bit confusing and you're not sure if you qualify for them. So we really appreciate the services of places like organizations like SCORE. So something that we've been asked about by businesses is what kind of assistance the city can offer. And we are working hard to try and figure that out. We did get a grant from the federal government. It's a HUD CDBG grant, Community Block Development Grant. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with HUD or their rules, but there's quite a few rules in the grants that are attached to the grants they give. This one, they have, you know, kind of waived some of those rules, but there still are quite a few. So we have about a $485,000 grant for them. And we're trying to be very creative in how we can use that to help our local businesses, because some of the things that are still attached to it are that if you're giving out grants, it has to somehow be tied to helping people that are low to moderate income. And that can be a real challenge. If all of your employees are not low to moderate income, we've got to figure out a way, you know, how we could help you if we can make that happen. And we still don't have guidance from the federal government on exactly the parameters of how we can use this money. So they passed the CARES Act. They put out billions of dollars to all of the states, and a lot of us are still waiting for, number one, the money, and number two, the guidance on how we can use the money. So even though you've heard all this money is available, we're still sitting here also waiting to find out how we can use it. But in the meantime, we are preparing so that as soon as we are able to access the money, that we can start getting it out to businesses and others as soon as possible. So we are also forming a working group on, you know, how do we open back up? What are things going to look like for us? What are the needs of local businesses? So we're starting with a very, very small group to kind of have an organizational meeting, and then we're gonna expand that to include different sectors and different folks with expertise that we'll need, and what their experiences have been, because some businesses obviously are still open, so we can learn from what they're going through right now. And you probably all know that the Baker administration has an advisory group that is meeting right now to come up with create their plan for what will be a phased opening for the state and for our communities. And that's supposed to come out May 18th. So on May 18th, that doesn't mean that, you know, everything's going to open right back up. As I'm sure you're probably aware, it is going to be a phased opening. It'll probably be at least 3 phases. I think Rhode Island has theirs, and they have 4 phases. They're still working on theirs as well. And a lot of the restrictions that we're under right now will still be in place. And so, you know, I've heard from businesses, look, we need 2 weeks at least so that we can see the plan and prepare for whatever it is that we're going to have to do. So we're conveying what we're hearing from businesses to the administration's advisory group. And so I'm eager to hear from you as well. So those are some of the things that are going on in the city. We're also creating at the same time another working group to open up city government and what we're going to look like come May 18th and afterwards, and how we're going to continue to provide our services. I do have to say, from what I've heard from some other communities, Taunton has done very well in continuing to provide services, and we're operating at a pretty high level compared to some other communities. So we've got a great IT guy, Paul Arikian, who has really made a lot of things happen very, very quickly, as I'm sure all of you have had to with your remote employees as well. So those are some of the things that we've been doing and that are going on in the city, and that we're looking toward the future. Because one thing we want to do is really be ready for everyone so that we can start our economy again and get folks back to work and get patrons back at all of your businesses. So I'll kind of leave my comments right there for now. I do see there's a chat, so let me just click on that to see. Okay, and I'll open it up because one of the things I really wanted to do today was kind of hear from you all about what you're going through, what your ideas are, and what you'll need from the state and the city as we look toward opening up. So Christine, I'll pass it over to you to pass on to your members.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions for the mayor? You can just put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to call you out. So I'll start with Randy. Just what kind of barriers are you facing to reopening and having your employees go back to work? You being in the industrial park, you operate a warehouse, and you kind of, it's almost like around the clock. It's a lot of time. So what kind of barriers do you think you're facing?
Yeah, so we haven't we haven't closed due to we're considered essential personnel supplying the infrastructure of the towns and cities and all these people that are scrambling to get their data communications back up and running. We're supplying their equipment and the electrical infrastructure for the utilities as well. So I really don't have any questions. That notice of what will change out there, that 2-week notice or something, that we're trying to follow the mayor's or the governor's site and everything to see what will those changes be and how will it impact our deliveries once we're out in the community and traveling.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy. One thing I want to mention is, I think businesses are going to have additional costs associated with the reopening, because you're probably going to be looking at things like adding, some type of barriers, or having spacing 6 feet apart and marking that, maybe having masks available for people. So it's kind of important to think about what kind of costs you might incur in reopening, and because we're thinking about, okay, how can we help you with those costs that you might incur? So it'd be good to hear about that, if you can really think about that. And so today's kind of a get out the questions kind of session and brainstorm if we can. But I think you'll also leave here and probably come up with your list of things, and really think about what your plan is for opening. I know we're all waiting for what the Baker administration gives us on May 18th. But in the meantime, businesses really have to think about, okay, how am I going to open? Do I need to put up partitions anywhere? Are my employees already trained in, sanitizing and wearing masks? If I'm a restaurant, do I need to go with, disposable menus? Or do I need beepers so people can wait outside and we call them when their table's ready? So just really thinking about how you can creatively run your business and be as profitable as possible during this time. I don't know if there's any salons on the call, but hair salons or other types of salons that provide those kinds of services. I know one thing that's going to be really important to people is childcare. And how do we start providing more childcare? That's going to be a really tough one. We've been talking about that. How are we going to open up summer programs like the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA or the city's summer program? if we're going to be allowed to do that. So we're already having those types of conversations here in the city. So is childcare a big problem or a challenge for anyone, that there's a real need out there for childcare? That would certainly be one of the things that's important to know about how you deal with that, because obviously our kids aren't in school.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I know John, up here at Nerds to Go, you have a little one, right? And so would childcare be, an issue for you going forward?
Childcare, I think childcare across the board is I'm hoping, at least the Baker administration realizes that that's going to be one of probably the highest hurdles that we're going to need to accomplish or negotiate before we can all get back to some semblance of normal. That combined with, being able to have employees work remotely, I think is another very important thing. Although I made the decision to close the business, I thought the time was right to, kind of limit the exposure that we may have, and I know that this is going to take years to shake out, but God forbid, one of my employees gets sick and the rest of us get sick, and there's only 4 of us right now full time. What would be the impact there? So that was one issue, and then when we bring them back, what do we do for employees that have children? And in my situation, I'm not being selfish at all here, but childcare is a major concern for me. My wife is an active duty service member. She's getting ready to go back on full-time duty status. And, here I am, a business owner, trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to manage in this new reality? And I think it's something that's going to require a lot of thought on our part. And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Mm. Does anybody have any comments on that they'd like to add? And
one of the things, and what we'll do as well is really try to have the information available for what childcare services are available and what they look like. So right now there is emergency childcare services available, and that's mainly for kind of like the frontline workers, those in healthcare and public safety. But as more open up, hopefully sometime after May 18th, we'll have all of that information on our website. And I know you have the chamber to disperse that information, but we're really trying hard to make sure that there's a kind of a one-stop shop to get all your information on the City of Taunton website. So we do have our dedicated COVID-19 page, and we're also in the process of making a business page so that we can list the businesses that are open and what your hours are, what your services are. I know you have that on the chamber website, and that's for members. So we're really looking to make sure it's open to any business in the city, and that everybody can go to one place and find that information, and it makes it a lot easier for them. I don't think a lot of people, like just your general folks out in the public, think of saying, oh, I'll go to the Taunton Area Chamber page and see what businesses are open. A lot of people just don't think like that. So we want to make sure that we publicize you guys as much as possible to get you some business. So that's something we're working on right now. We're also working on a booklet of what services are available to businesses, like the PPP, payment protection. I know you're probably all aware of that, and other things that are out there that you might not be aware of, because there's a lot of individual kind of grants out there to help different sectors, like maybe the arts or restaurant workers and stuff like that, and not everyone's aware of those things. So we're trying to put that all together for you as well. And the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about is we've seen a lot of businesses just really, I'm sorry, my lawn is being mowed out there. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's quite loud on my end.
Can't hear that.
Wait, you cannot hear it?
No,
okay.
I can't.
Okay, good. But businesses have really just been able to kind of change the way they do business very quickly so that they can adapt. And, you know, I think Liberty and Union's been a great model in that, and how they're doing so well in their takeout business. And others, you know, getting more of an online presence, because everybody's shopping online right now. And we would certainly be able to promote local businesses and their online presence, because I think everybody, you know, kind of automatically goes to Amazon or something like that to buy stuff. But if you're selling something locally and you have an online presence and they can order it and get it delivered, we'd rather promote you than something else. So I'd love to be able to do that as well. I've never been much of an online shopper myself, but lately I have been, because we're all forced to do that kind of thing. So it's important for businesses to kind of get creative. Another thing I saw was some cities are allowing restaurants to also sell like grocery items. And, you know, I don't know how well that works. I'd certainly like to hear from the restaurants, but when somebody comes to pick up their takeout, you know, for Friday night, they could also buy some items that you'd find in a grocery store, whether that be, you know, raw meat to cook, or, you know, toilet paper is a big commodity right now. Whatever it is, they have a certain number of items and they'll sell those at the same time. So that's something that we could certainly look at doing too, if that would help our local restaurants. I don't know how it's working in other communities, but I know there's a couple that have done that. So we can get real creative with all those kinds of things. And, you know, if there's any ideas that you've had that said, oh, it would be great if I could do this, you know, let's talk about it and see if we can make that happen.
Mayor, has there been any communication with some of the building owners? Is there any like a rent relief programs that are coming down, or any way to work with building owners who, you know, still demanding their rent, obviously, but
Yeah.
any type of working with that?
Yep. So we still have our rent rebate program, and we're looking at how we might be able to use that, because, you know, there are certain requirements associated with that, and how we can maybe use that for other purposes for businesses. And again, we're still waiting for the guidance on the money from HUD, because we're hoping we might be able to use that also for assistance for our downtown businesses.
So does anybody have any other questions? Oh,
I do. Good morning,
Chris.
O'Connell. Thank you for being on the call this morning. I own a local spa, so I'm in the service-based industry with hair salons and things like that, where we work very closely with our clients. One of the things I was wondering, as a town, are you considering purchasing PPE in bulk to then resell to businesses that are working in the local area? And I say that because I have made that my mission to buy PPE we have quite a large staff of about 15. And with how much we have to change over in between every single client, I'm buying stuff right now at about a 400% increase. So it's like buying a carton of eggs for $10 essentially. And to incur that cost, it's really, you know, there's cost of doing business and then there's price gouging. And I was just wondering if that was something that you could provide to the city, where we could purchase it, if you could get that in bulk at all.
And purchase it from us. That's a great question and a great idea. So the city, obviously we have an emergency management agency, and we do purchase or get sometimes from the federal government PPE to distribute locally. But we can talk to them about maybe almost like a consortium for businesses to do bulk purchasing so that it's less expensive for you guys, because and we're gonna, that's one of the things we'll talk about when we start our working group for how do we open up the city and what are the needs of businesses. So thank you for telling us that's your need. We do understand that businesses are going to need those kinds of things, the masks, and they're still a little bit difficult to come by,
Mhm.
even the surgical grade ones.
Yeah.
And we're trying to kind of like train and educate the community on face coverings. And there's actually, you know, a lot of folks that are making homemade face coverings.
Oh yeah, we've been doing that too.
Yeah, so I mean, and that could be another avenue we go down. We might have certain seamstresses in the city, and maybe they can start making face coverings as part of their business and sell them in bulk to the local businesses. So then that's kind of a win-win for everybody. So that those are kind of the nice things that come out of these group conversations, are these ideas and how we can help one another and what you need. So we'll certainly have that discussion, because we, you know, hopefully only have a couple of weeks till some of the businesses start opening up more. And we'll also talk with our emergency management folks about what we can get through emergency management as well. So thank you. And relaxation works. So do you, what kind of services exactly do you provide?
Massage therapy, facials, hair removal, energy healing, yoga, things like that.
Yeah, so that's, I think that's something we all could use right about now. So
Yeah.
I'm real hopeful that those kind of spas get to open up by, you know, using the face mask for you and your customers, and because you know, you'll get some visitors, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Chris.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns?
Yeah. So one other thing I want to let you know is we are going to be working on the Liberty and Union Park downtown. That is right next to, what is it, like 70 Main Street, I think? It's in between the two buildings there.
Near People Inc.
Yeah. And that is hopefully going to be, Ed, do you know, is that starting in June, the construction on that? Yeah. And I'm not sure how long it's slated for. It's not a huge project, but we would like to get that ready as quickly as possible, so that, you know, one of the things that restaurants are asking for is outdoor seating. And we're going to talk about that, you know, in our group. I don't know how much room there actually is on our sidewalks for that, but we're going to talk about what that could look like. But that would be one spot for people to go grab whatever they want in a local restaurant downtown, and then be able to go sit outside and eat, you know, their food. So that'll be real helpful getting that done. So that's another thing we need to hear from restaurants is, you know, what capacity they might have for outdoor seating, because that'll be helpful in opening back up. Because everything's going to be pretty limited in how many people still can be inside a business, and the social distancing and the 6 feet and all of those types of things.
So Gretchen, are you here? I mean, I know you're here, but are you?
I'm here.
So we have Gretchen from Christ Community Church, and
Hi.
so exactly like what you just mentioned, you know, obviously her business, you know, the church is going to be greatly affected because of how many people gather and how, you know, the size of the space. What are you guys doing or planning on doing to
right now
deal with that?
Right now we are planning a phased reopening, and working on training our staff to how to disinfect. One of our kind of questions that we're still trying to figure out is actually bathroom use. I know it may sound funny, and a little bit of potty humor that comes along with that, but as a church with a large volume of people coming through, being there an hour, it's a natural conversation to have about how do you keep up to date with cleaning and disinfecting. You know, what kind of system do you use? I have young kids, so even now if we go for a ride somewhere, again, I think it's a funny conversation, but it is a real conversation to have. I think even for probably restaurants, for people out in the public, you know, how do you keep on top of disinfecting? how do you limit use? And also, when it comes to coming into a building, you know, how do you keep everyone safe, distancing, but also cleaning up after them once they've come in and out of the building. So looking at some of those options about just trying to keep on top of the disinfecting for people who are coming in and out, and trying to figure out some creative solutions, I think is one of our biggest hurdles.
Yeah, and I think for, you know, some of the bigger businesses, or the businesses that have, you know, two exits that they're able to use, is like maybe one way in, one way out. You know, you got to try and start thinking of those kinds of things that'll come along with that. And, you know, Christ Community Church, I know, has that capacity and are able to do that. So again, it's really getting creative and thinking about what are your needs going to be, and how can you comply with the rules that are most likely going to be in place. And, you know, how does your business still survive at maybe operating at only 25% capacity, or 35%, or whatever it might be? Because for, like, you know, for a restaurant, that's tough. You still have a lot of your costs, but you're only making 25% of the money that you used to make. And I think ramping up your takeout service is one of the things that people are gonna need to do. So, and I have been talking, you know, the restaurants and the floor is up because Mother's Day is Sunday. So putting in a plug for moms and businesses, order some takeout for your mom, don't make her cook, or your wife, and some nice flowers.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add to that?
Christine, I'd like to offer seed services up. Mayor Connell, thank you so much for your time today. Southeastern Economic Development, we're located right here on 44 in Taunton. We are a not-for-profit SBA microlender. We're applying for new grants right now from state and federal levels. We didn't participate in the PPP due to lack of funding. However, if we do get the funding we're asking for, we are another resource to help the rebuild phase. Once people have exhausted the PPP and the EIDL, we are right here in town. Experts on the PPP process, Lori Driscoll from my team is right below me in the screens here. And we also offer technical assistance and workshops for the small micro businesses in the town.
Okay, thank you, sir. I can't see everyone that's on the call because it's multiple screens, but thank you for giving out that information. And we'll make sure that we may already have you on the City of Taunton website, but we'll make sure that you're on there as well with your services.
Happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you.
So does anybody have any other questions they'd like to add?
All right.
Okay.
So one thing I want to throw out there, as you know, our seniors are graduating this year, and they're, you know, they're kind of the class that is not going to have a formal graduation, probably the first time this has ever happened, at least in any of our lifetimes. And so we're really trying to see what kind of special things that we can do for them, how we can make them feel like they really did get a graduation, and send them off, you know, wherever they might be going, to college or to work or whatever it is, knowing that they got some recognition and were appreciated. And they've done a lot of hard work throughout their school careers to get to where they are now. So one thing that the school is doing, Taunton High, they are making up what they're calling swag bags for all of the seniors. And, you know, the city is going to be donating some item to them. So we're reaching out to businesses, and I understand that it's a tough time for some businesses, and we get that. But if you are able to help out in any way, we are reaching out to local businesses, and Christine is going to help with this, to ask if there's anything that you might be able to donate. And some of the suggestions that we have, you know, maybe you could donate $100, and then we could then in turn purchase very small gift cards for the seniors. There's about 460-ish seniors that are graduating. So we don't expect any one business to donate something for every single one of them, but if we can get enough small donations, then we can do some really nice things for them. Maybe there's some promotional products that you have from your businesses that might be good for a swag bag. Yeah, hand sanitizer would certainly be something right now that everybody could use. So if there's anything like that that you have, or if you could reach out to maybe another business to get, you know, maybe $1 gift certificates for an ice cream or a coffee or a slice of pizza, you know, any kind of creative thing like that we're looking for. If we get enough donations, we would then in turn go to all of our local businesses and maybe buy small gift cards for all of our seniors, so that we're kind of giving back the money to you in that way. So Christine, I think, is maybe going to follow up with all of you with an email and see if there's anything that you might be able to do. And we really, really appreciate that as well.
It's a great way to be able to market your business too, because you're getting that direct contact, you know, with the high school students. So it's a pretty good, you know, way to get your business in front of their face. And I know that there's going to be a lot of changes with a lot of these businesses, especially, you know, with the PPP or PPE, ABC. And that doesn't mean, though, that you don't purchase gift certificates to get a massage or, you know, to get a facial, because even though there are going to be restrictions, these businesses still need us to patronize them, and they're not going to be closed. It's something that they're going to still be here. So we need to, I think, getting gift certificates to places like that, a spa, salon, would be great. Because then, you know, later on down the road, you can, you know, it's there for you. So it's like saving. But I know that would be a good thing. What do you think? Where's Maria? Hi, Maria. Maria owns Serenity and Beyond. It's skincare. You're muted. Still muted. There you go.
Not muted anymore. Yes, I do. Serenity and Beyond, along with Annette and Justine. Annette does the Reiki, and Justine, she speaks to the spirits. And I do the skincare, yes. So yes, gift certificates would be greatly appreciated.
And not just because of the service, but you guys have products too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Essential oils, skincare treatments, products. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You know, and again, being online is great, because then if mom does get one for Mother's Day, we can go online and purchase, you know,
Absolutely,
products.
absolutely. Makeup.
Yeah.
Absolutely appreciated. And yes, I'll see what I can do when talking to the other ladies about gift certificates for seniors, because I have a senior.
Oh.
And Benjamin is graduating this year, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I also thought another great idea was all other towns have these signs on the lawns with the kids graduating. And I actually, I got in touch with Signorama.
Panorama.
Yes, and I have a sign now. So I think that would be a great idea for the rest of the students to have that as well.
Yeah, and I know that, oh, I'm sorry, someone else talking? Okay, that Matt Matos, the headmaster, is working with a group to kind of figure out what is something special that we can do for the seniors. And I know he's including students in that as well. There are a lot of, you know, great ideas that have come in. So they are working on something. What it is yet, I don't know. But I think they're going to have hopefully two plans, one to recognize them now, and maybe hopefully one to recognize them when we can all actually get together again.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And then one other thing we're in the very, very beginning stages of talking about is possibly having another fund, another COVID-19 fund for businesses. So, you know, we have one for, you know, kind of like a social service type one. And we're going to see if we can come up with another one for businesses. And we're going to be reaching out to some of the local businesses that might be able to really help with some more significant donations to that. So we'll keep you updated on that. We're just kind of feeling the waters on that right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ed, did I miss anything? Anything else we need to add here?
Well, yes. Your personality. What ice cream flavor?
You know what? I usually like vanilla because you can make it whatever you want and put anything you want on it. But vanilla is my favorite. And then in the summer, it's actually watermelon sherbet with chocolate sprinkles.
Oh, very nice. That sounds like a good one. Thank you, Mayor.
I had to mute myself because Park and Rec was weed whacking right outside my window here.
Yeah, mine too.
But I think you covered everything that we spoke about. And I just wanted to say, if you can find it in your heart, and if you're doing well in this economy, as some businesses are, some are doing good and some are doing better than they did before. Please think of the other businesses. Give us a call. Give the mayor a call. Give me a call. And we have that fund that we're putting together to help the businesses that are really not doing well. I spoke to one today that hasn't had a job in weeks. Is not able to pay their rent. They need help. So I think all of us that are doing well, it would be such a great gesture to just call us and we'll share it and we'll tell them that you were part of this, because you do need to get the recognition if you want it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And some businesses have taken off. Some are suffering greatly. And if any business closes in our community, it hurts all of us. So, coming together to support one another. And I've seen so much of that in the past 2 months. It's unbelievable. We have a great community, great people here, wonderful businesses, people who are deeply invested and care a lot about the success of our community. And with us all coming together like that, supporting one another, we will be much more successful. And so we're hoping that we can get some good donations from businesses and organizations who are doing well so that we can help those that need a little extra during this time and that are really suffering.
Just to reiterate what you said, Mayor, shop local as much as you possibly can. Shop local. That's a great way to support our local businesses.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you so much, Mayor O'Connell. And like, this is Small Business Week, which I know the chamber had planned on doing something special this whole week. So it would be nice if everybody was able to buy gift certificates this week from the local businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Debbie. And we promoted you guys Small Business Week at the City Council meeting on Tuesday. I've done it on my daily videos, and I'm going to do it again before the end of the week to give local business a plug, and of course, Mother's Day a plug.
Yeah, your videos have been great, and even like you mentioned, your website, it's very informative.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and they did a great job with that.
All right, wonderful. So we will regroup and we will get back to you. And I know Christine's going to follow up not only about the seniors and the swag bags, but also about what, you getting back to us, what your needs and your suggestions and your ideas and all that. And we'll keep in touch with you regarding our working groups about opening back up our city government and our local economy.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
John, did you have something too from SCORE?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor, for helping us here and addressing us. One of the things I did want to offer, and I don't know if you saw in the chat, but if you are looking for help with that working group and looking for SCORE or my input, I'd be happy to join.
Thank you very much, John.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mayor, just Jay Patik is here from Mass Development. I know there's another colleague, Mary Ellen DeFrias, that is on. Mass Development is always here if the city of Taunton needs any help.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize you guys were on, but it's really good to hear from you.
Yeah, no problem. Anything you need, let us know.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Mary Ellen.
Hi, Mayor. Michelle here. I just wanted to say I'll catch up with you later, but would be happy to talk about the COVID fund for businesses.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
And also, if you need some representation, the Mass Bankers Association has put together sort of guidance for banks for reopening. So if you'd like to, we could work and I could provide you that information. It might be helpful.
Okay. Oh, thanks so much, Michelle. And you guys have been, Bristol County Savings has really been great throughout this whole thing, as have other local businesses and organizations. But Bristol County always steps up to the plate and has invested a great deal in our community, and we always appreciate it. So we will definitely get in touch.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you. And it'll also be great to hear from the colleges too. I see Bay State College is on here about what you're thinking.
Bridgewater State too.
Oh, and okay, and Bridgewater, like I said, you can only see so many in the screen at once, but it's good to see the colleges because we certainly want to understand what you're going to look like as well.
Dave, we had just had an online virtual open house at Bay State College, and it went really well. And I think that's right, Dave. That's kind of where colleges are going. You're going to have to do these virtual open houses because you can't do tours.
Got to be very creative. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to be creative, and we had that last Friday. That was very successful. Thank you to the chamber, and as well as we'll be having an orientation here in Taunton for our new class coming in a week from next Tuesday. So it's going to be virtual, obviously, but we're also going to just be creative as well. So it's moved us all in many different directions, and of course, the president of Bay State College is with me as well too, Mark DeFusco. But we're working through the governor's guidelines, and it's not only Taunton, but we also have to work through the city of Boston. All the colleges are, trying to figure out where we're going. So I appreciate your assistance in working with us.
Great, thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Christine, I just want to know, can you save the chats that are on the side there? Because I'm seeing them now, and those would be helpful. And I know Rashad from Platinum City Gaming is on, and that is certainly a business that's struggling right now. Rashad, did you have anything? I see a quick comment.
Yes. Pretty much, if we can just get a lot of support from the city, or individuals in the city that can do a small donation to help us out. We still have to pay a big portion of rent, and it's been tough. It's been really, really tough, and we're not getting approved for literally anything at this point. So it's been a battle.
Okay, and I think it might be a good idea too for you to either contact SCORE or SEED if you haven't already. Have you?
Yeah, we contact everyone. We talk to everyone, and I'm like very active on like so many different Zoom calls. I even been doing international Zoom calls with a couple friends that I know. So I'm doing the best I can at this point. The community, the youth is very nervous because this is something that they love, and I'm trying really hard, and it's been a lot of support from Autism Resources. They've been helping us out pretty well. A couple city councils helped us out, and a couple local beer distributors helped us as well.
Okay, and for anyone who doesn't know, Silver City Platinum is a gaming place, but they also offer programs for children to teach them, and some of the programs are for disadvantaged children. I know that they were looking at trying to have a summer camp for local kids this summer. So they've done some events with our local police department to kind of connect them to our youth through gaming. So they've really come up with some creative things, and it's certainly a good business to have in our city. So we definitely want to support them.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay. All right.
Is anybody else on the line that would like to say something or introduce themselves? No.
All right. So I do have to jump on another conference, as I'm sure some of you probably do as well. So thank you all so much. Thank you for everything you're doing for our city, all of the investment you've made in our city. We really appreciate that. We are working hard to come up with as much support as we can for our local businesses, and we will continue to do that. And I just want to wish everyone a good weekend and a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Mayor.
Happy Mother's Day to you, Mayor, and
Mother's
thank
Day.
you so very much for participating.
You're welcome.
We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
everybody. And
Thank
this
you.
will be recorded and it will be available on our website and also our social media pages. And we'll be sending it out shortly, okay?
Thanks,
Okay,
Christine.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget the chats. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Bye.